The Washington Commanders could potentially be interested in adding T. Higgins to this team. Let's talk about it.
How I feel? Black. What I want?
Get back slow, I love the way she rock her hips. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she pop her hips, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's no beginner. She's confident. I love the way she move it.
YouTube, what's going on? It's your man Juan Gotti here. As y'all know, once we hit 7K, I'm giving away 5 Jaden Daniel jerseys, so help me get there as soon as possible. And subscribe to Chewy IRL also. Alrighty, y'all, let's go ahead and talk about the possibility of T. Higgins joining the Washington Commanders. Now, obviously, we're not talking about this year, more likely than not. I believe that they're referring to next year free agency, as we think Washington would be in the mix for adding a receiver. Now, this article is per Riggo's Rags. Let's talk about it. It says Commanders urge to maximize Jaden Daniels' contract with T. Higgins trade. So let's talk about what they have to say. Adam Peters displayed ruthless aggression to get the Washington Commanders roster more competitive this offseason. Fans should expect this trend to continue throughout the summer and during the new general manager's ambitious long-term plans. It's going to take time. Nobody's under any illusion about the size of Peters' ongoing task. However, the Commanders have a rookie quarterback contract to build around after taking Jaden Daniels at number 2 overall in the 2024 NFL Draft. Maximizing the window is crucial. Peters knows the benefit of having a cheap deal to mold other areas on the roster. The San Francisco 49ers benefited from this greatly when Brock Purdy emerged as the viable starting option after being the final college prospect selected in the 2022 NFL Draft. This freedom enabled the Niners to tie down key players at a long-term deal, identify top-of-the-line free agents, and even make few bold trades when the right opportunities presented themselves. So let's stop right there for a second. Now, that is the most important, I believe, point and topic, is that Washington has a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal, and that is going to allow them to be frugal and be allowing them to be freely, rather, with their money. They can attack left tackle, they can attack wide receiver, they can make a trade for something, fancy, because they're not tied down to the quarterback position, as much as they could be, or other teams are. Now, it's very important that we win within that window, because if we do win, he's not only going to get paid, but he's going to get paid a lot of money. Like, think about the QB market now, and think about it 5 years from now or 4, when Jaden Daniels is ready to get paid. Maybe 3 if he just emerges through the first 2 seasons of his career, and at the end of his 3rd year, he's had another good year, and they potentially pay him then. See, I know it probably sounds crazy right now. Juan, we haven't even played a snap yet. He's still a rookie. Y'all talking about potential plans for him to be on his second contract, and he hasn't even played a rookie game. I understand that, but that's what you got to start thinking of. See, I think good GMs, they think ahead. So that's why the beginning of the article is basically saying, if you want to win, you got to do it now. Not saying you can't do it after you pay Jaden Daniels, if you do choose so, but you got to do it now while you have opportunities to build the roster fully around him. Just look at Joe Burrow, right? They didn't win the Super Bowl, but they went. Look at the Texans last year. They were, and look at them this offseason. If they had a quarterback on a Kirk Cousins kind of deal, or they had C.J. Stroud on a second contract, they probably wouldn't have been able to make the moves that they made, bringing in Stephon Diggs and other people. So it is very important to win during your rookie deal. But let's get back to the article, as it says. The Commanders named amongst potential suitors for T. Higgins. While the Commanders are far from San Francisco's in terms of quality, Peters wants to adopt a similar method. Stabilizing the foundation was the first primary objective. After that, the respected front office leader can begin to taking risk. This was a topic brought up by Maurice Morton from the Bleacher Report. He named the Commanders as a team that should take a swing at acquiring wide receiver T. Higgins via trade from the Cincinnati Bengals. Considering the salary cap space they have available and Daniels on a rookie contract, they could also potentially offer him an extension immediately after the deal was confirmed in the scenario. Quote, the Washington Commanders have the second most cap space with $43.4 million. they can allot a chunk of that cap space to T. Higgins' new contract with the intent to do everything possible to help Jaden Daniels get off to a quicker career start. Washington can afford to be aggressive in the acquiring playmakers while Daniels is on a rookie deal. With this trade, it would have a deep receiver group that includes Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dodson, rookie third round pick Luke McCaffrey, and Higgins. As a rebuilding team, Washington own 2025 draft picks maybe early in each round, which is something that Cincinnati Bengals should consider if they are open to trading T. Higgins. So let's stop right there before we pick back up. That is also another good point. Cincinnati has to pay Jamar Chase. They may not be able to pay all, both of these guys top dollar. They both deserve wide receiver one money, and especially with Jalen Waddle just got paid, it's only going to increase. So T. Higgins definitely could be on his own team, and that is a possibility for it to be here in Washington. Cincinnati, their whole thought process could be a Washington very well could not be that good this year, especially with the rookie quarterback and rebuilding. Let's trade him to Washington and try to get the most draft capital. But what they don't know is that giving us trade to T. Higgins could potentially boost us and give us the spark that we've missed, that we were missing, and help us prevail to a Texans like year in year one, which ultimately mean that draft pick won't be as valuable as as it could have been if we sucked, right? But also with Cincinnati, their whole thing is you can't pay both of those guys wide receiver one money, so you have to take one of them or get rid of one of them. So would you rather trade one, or that being T. Higgins? You're not trading Jamar Chase. Trade T. Higgins to Washington and getting some value for him, or would you rather just let him walk in free agency next year? As he may sit out this year, he may play on a franchise tag. Who knows what happens? Let him walk in free agency and you get nothing, or you get something for him and by trading him right now or whatever may have you. It's options out there, and either way, I think it's good for both sides. I wouldn't be mad if Washington decided to make the trade now because I think T. Higgins is a really good guy, and he's going to be a dog for us. So I don't have no doubt in my mind that we're getting fleeced. This isn't a Chase Young kind of rental for the 49ers where they didn't even re-sign him, and he didn't even really do much for the 49ers. I think T. Higgins will immediately come here and be really good, and he would be that guy that is going to help out Terry McLaurin. Not only is going to help out Terry McLaurin, but he's going to be that big body receiver that we've been missing. Remember, we brought in Antonio Gandy Golden, failure. We brought in Kelvin Harmon. I think he's really good, but he got injured. We had Cam Sims, but they never utilized Cam Sims the right way, and he was really good for us, in my opinion. You even go back to Terrell Pryor. Like, Terrell Pryor is considered a big body. He didn't work out. So we really desperately been missing that big body receiver. All of our receivers are beneath 6 foot. So T. Higgins would immediately become that big body target for us, and I'm an absolute dog for us. So me personally, I don't have no issues with doing it right now, waiting to free agency, whatever may have you. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel Washington is going to be in the wide receiver market next year, whether it's whether it's Brandon Ayuk, or whether it's someone else. And they're going to be in the wide receiver market because if you look at this wide receiver room right now, it's Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dodson, Luke McCaffrey, and a bunch of Jags. Lamade Zaccheaus is okay, but you know what I'm saying? He's Lamade Zaccheaus. De'Ami Brown, trash. I like Mitchell Tinsley. I like some of the Bryson Tremaine. Like, they're cool, but they're not T. Higgins. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to stop you from going to get T. Higgins, or they're not guys that can do what T. Higgins can do. You feel me? So I would not mind getting T. Higgins. There's no doubt some of Higgins' qualities could help the Commanders and assist Daniels take the league by storm. He's growing increasingly frustrated with the Bengals, especially considering how other wide receivers around the league are being paid handsomely. That said, it would be a bombshell of epic proportion if the Commanders went down at this route. Giving up a second and a fourth round selection leaves the Commanders with just 4 selections during the 2025 NFL Draft. Peters wanted to build through the college selections process, so sacrificing additional capital for Higgins might not enter his brain of thought, despite the obvious benefits attached. So that is another good point. Adam Peters prides himself on finding gems in the late round. Again, Talanoa Hufanga, Fred Warner, Brock Purdy. The list goes on of how Dre Greenlaw, like the list goes on of how much mid to late talent that they found in the draft. So he prides himself on that. So maybe Adam Peters isn't interested in trading for him, which again is fine. I think more realistically, this is something that could happen in 2025 free agency, because I do think T. Higgins is going to play on that franchise tag, and I think he's going to end up getting paid somewhere else next year. And I think that money's going to ultimately go to Jamar Chase. So again, that's another good point. Instead of having to give up draft capital, we can keep the draft capital, rock out with what we got. Maybe it's tough because Terry and Jahan are the only ones doing the work, and maybe Luke McCaffrey emerges, but it's not a guarantee. So it could be a tough watch this year for the wide receiver room, but it'll all be worth it, because then you could bring in a monster next year in T. Higgins. That said, though, I do think Luke McCaffrey's gonna be solid for us, and I do think he can, help out this wide receiver room, and he could potentially be really good for us. And a lot of people believe he could be, what they call him, Puka Nacua. I'm not gonna say he's gonna have that much of an impact, but it's a potential. Once the Commanders added Higgins, which does seem unlikely, paying him accordingly won't be cheap. Spock Chalk projects that the former Clemson star will make a market value of $19.7 million per year season on a 5-year, $98.56 million deal. Washington already has plenty of cash tied up in wide receiver Terry McLaurin, so that would jeopardize their chances of becoming a complete roster. So that's the last of the article that I'm going to read today. So, again, it's just food for thought. It's not something that's guaranteed to happen. I think it's more realistically for it to happen in free agency than anything, but you never know with this regime. We might wake up and they might end up actually trading for a T. Higgins. You know what I'm saying? But I do think, if anything, it probably would be during the season, so they could see how Washington season's going and seeing how Tampa Bay, their season is going. And if Washington is kind of struggling, then they'll probably be interested in, maybe trading them, because they know that our draft capital is going to be secure. Or maybe if Washington is on the brink of a playoff push or something, and they don't see no need to keep him because they don't need him. I don't know how that whole situation will work out. I'm just throwing out scenarios. But it just keep your ears to the streets. T. Higgins could be a Commander in free agency next year. That's where I think it's more realistic. Or Brandon Ayuk, who is Jaden Daniels' best friend, and that could be something that could happen down the line. But it's just a quick little video, hypothetical video. Let me know what y'all think about it down below in the comment section. As always, being Boy Juan Gotti, like, comment, subscribe. Hail to the Washington Commanders. On the road to 7,000 subscribers. Check out Chewy IRL. That link is down below in the description. Y'all have a blessed one. Stay safe. Peace.
Never gave up on me. Ballin' like I'm Deshaun, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a lawn.